We do want to take right now a quick look at Storm Shield Doppler radar. The governor mentioned that this storm is expected to make landfall on the east coast of Florida sometime overnight tonight. We don't know exactly what time, but you look at this radar, you can see the outer rain bands from the storm. They're already soaking areas, and we're already getting word on our social media pages from people in inland southwest Florida, you know, Hendry Glades, areas like LaBelle, saying they are seeing rain and even some wind starting to kick up already.
Justin, we want to show you this brand new video just for you. This deadly hurricane hitting parts of the Bahamas today, pounding the islands with at least 130-mile-an-hour winds and that torrential rain in the Bahamas. We're now learning the storm has killed at least 108 people. Most of the deaths have been happening in Haiti. Southern and western Haiti bearing the brunt of this storm. A lot of falling trees, flying debris, swollen rivers, and you can see all that mud just gushing across some villages.
All right, we want to send it over now to our chief meteorologist, Derek Beasley. He's standing by in the Weather Center now with the latest as he tracks Hurricane Matthew. Derek?
From Southwest Florida's news source, this is Fox 4 News at 6.
All eyes on Hurricane Matthew tonight. The Category 4 storm expected to make landfall somewhere on Florida's east coast overnight tonight. But the outer rain bands from the storm are already soaking areas, including parts of southwest Florida.
We've got brand new video just into the Fox 4 newsroom. Some heavy rain and wind in Miami ahead of Hurricane Matthew. People who recorded this video say it rained hard just for about 7 minutes, and then it was calm all of a sudden again.
Now, the deadly hurricane hitting parts of the Bahamas today, pounding the area with at least 130-mile-an-hour winds and torrential rains there as well. 4 in Your Corner's Adam Pinsker is in our breaking news tracker. It's a vehicle that he can drive around, and we can see him live right now. So let's go check in with him. He's in LaBelle with the very latest tonight.
Hey, Amy, we actually just left LaBelle. We're on US 27 going north right now toward Moorhaven, about 4 miles outside of Moorhaven. I'm going to show you what it looks like out here. Pretty barren. This is a main highway that goes to the center of the state, probably one of the older highways in the state, and not many folks on here tonight. We have just entered Glades County. It is one of the counties under a tropical storm watch or a warning, or a hurricane watch or warning, but really no effects right now. It's overcast. We've kind of hit some minor rain bands here, nothing like what we've seen over in Miami or Melbourne or Palm Beach at this hour. There is an evacuation shelter in Moorhaven, and as in most cases, same in Clewiston, which is just south of here, as in most cases, you can only bring service animals into those shelters if you're going to utilize them. We just left the one in LaBelle, which of course is a little closer to Fort Myers, and that one is about half full. They say they have space to accommodate people. So again, if you are on this highway right now, it is clear. There are no accidents, and it is really not raining very hard between here and LaBelle and here in Fort Myers and Lehigh Acres. So we'll keep you updated on our progress as we head into Moorhaven. For now, live on US 27, Adam Pinsker, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. So what exactly is Hurricane Matthew doing right now, and what can we expect specifically in southwest Florida? Our chief meteorologist, Derek Beasley, standing by live with the answer.
Continuing our coverage of Category 4 Hurricane Matthew as it continues to approach the east coast of Florida. People on the east coast are bracing for this storm as they get home on this Thursday night. A lot of them even heading over to southwest Florida, to our side of the state, trying to seek shelter. Hotels across the area are booked, as far from Collier County all the way up through Lee County and parts of Charlotte County. We do have multiple shelters open throughout the area. Lee, Hendry, Glades, and Charlotte County all have shelters open. One of them at Florida Gulf Coast University, Alico Arena, has over 100 people already, many from the East Coast. 4 in Your Corner's Jillian Idle has been live at the shelter for several hours now, and she's been talking to families there about why they decided to evacuate. Jillian?
And Amy, that's right. Get this. So last time we checked in with you, there was about 100 people here at this shelter. But since then, there's now more than 200 people checked in here. Now, we're not allowed to go inside due to several reasons, but we are outside, as you can see. Hopefully, there are still some people checking in. It is starting to sprinkle outside. So a lot of people who were hanging outside here, they have gone inside to the shelter. Now, I do want to show you the parking lot so you can see just how many cars are here. Now, throughout the several hours we've been here, here. There's people bringing pretty much all their belongings from the East Coast, packing their cars with blankets, pillows, personal belongings, some family photos, just bringing it all into the shelter. Now, I've been talking to people from as far south as Miami, all the way up through the Treasure Coast. Tons of people here. Also, we did just see Congressman Clausen come into the shelter just a little bit ago. He's actually talking to people, but we're going to see if we can talk to him here in a little bit. But we have been talking to lots of people evacuating from the East Coast. Some have gone through hurricanes before. Also, some people, though, say this is their first time. They don't know what to expect. But as soon as they heard that evacuations were happening on that East Coast, they quickly made their way here. They said there are signs along the highway directing them to this shelter. Again, though, they said there's room for about 1,200 people here. And right now, they're just a little bit more than 200. So definitely some room still for people looking for that safe place. So if you do know any friends or family heading from the East Coast to this side of Florida, definitely you'll want to let them know there's lots of room here at Alico Arena on Florida Gulf Coast University's campus. But for now, reporting live in Fort Myers, Jillian Idle, Fox 4 in your corner.
We have crews all over Southwest Florida as well as the East Coast. 4 in your corner's Lisa Greenberg has been in West Palm Beach live all night. Conditions truly have been deteriorating there as the storm gets closer to the East Coast. Listen very closely. We do apologize for the wind. There are winds of up to 70 miles an hour, maybe higher at this point. So, Lisa, what are things looking like there?
Patrick, David, we are getting some strong wind gusts out here. I know that I've told you this before, but it is getting to the point where I have to literally tighten my knees to stay standing up against this. We're told that it's about 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts out here, so you can tell it's getting really intense. And the best way to see how much of the rain is falling is to either look at this street light here and just see that rain just pounding sideways. I keep referencing that street light, but that is where you can really see this rain is almost like going in circles. It's beating off the pavement. Even over here, if you look at my hands this way, there you can see just the rain coming down sideways through that wind. It is extremely powerful. Now, we're told that about 6,000 people in this county have lost power. Our hotel, the power has flickered on and off, but we have not lost power yet. They do have a generator inside, though, for when that does happen, that will power the first floor, which is where everyone's kind of been seeking shelter during this. The rooms will not have power, but the rest of the hotel will. Lots of people have crowded to this hotel to stay safe tonight, to evacuate from their homes, or some are here on vacation. Could you imagine coming to Florida, to West Palm, to vacation and getting Hurricane Matthew instead? I mean, this is an extremely powerful storm, as Derek and Tony have been telling you. It's extremely powerful here. And people here are just kind of walking around the hotel, checking it out. We actually have a couple people standing outside right now. They're just kind of checking things out here and kind of seeing, you know, what's going on and all that. So, you know, it's not a super, I guess people aren't super nervous here. They're kind of trusting that they're safe. So that's what's kind of going on here in West Palm right now. Like I said, I have this wind coming at my back, really extremely powerful right now. And that's what's going on here. So we'll continue to keep you posted, and we'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. For now, we're live in West Palm Beach. Lisa Greenberg, Fox 4, in your corner.
Other conditions not so cool for a woman in South Fort Myers tonight. 4 in your corner's Adam Pinsker live right now in her yard where a big old tree came down on what feels like a really little car in comparison. Adam?
Oh boy, Patrick, I'll tell you what, man, this is a Honda Accord, and it's pretty fortunate that this Royal Palm didn't slice it in half. The only thing stopping it from doing so is this other tree over here. The homeowner tells us a couple hours ago this thing came crashing down on her car. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. She said she was sitting inside her living room watching our coverage of this hurricane, and she heard a loud thud. Her neighbors reported the same thing, and she came outside and discovered this tree down in her yard. She said that her lawn guy was here a couple weeks ago and said that it looked really weird, like it was rotting out, and it kind of looks that way if you look at the base of it. Want to emphasize that nobody was hurt when this tree came down a couple hours ago. The homeowner says it was breezy out here. She said she saw some trees swaying out here, but can't quite say if weather brought this thing down. Did cause some damage in her yard as well. So this is the kind of thing we have happen, especially in Fort Myers with all the palm trees that we have out here. You can see the tree landed the top of it right at almost like a wishbone on this other large, I think this is a banyan tree, out in her front yard, really kind of saving it from coming down maybe on her garage. So she was not hurt. Nobody else here was hurt. And the neighborhood is nice and quiet except for us being here. We're live in Fort Myers Villas. Adam Pinsker, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thanks so much, Adam. I'm sure that TV light's keeping a few people up tonight. And he interviewed the owner of the car earlier in our coverage, and she was so sweet, came out in her robe and said, I just didn't know what was going on. Heard that big crash while she was watching the news, but so glad no one was in the car at least. If you've got friends or family coming over from the East Coast to Florida, at least they don't have to worry about tolls. They can get here a little bit quicker if they're trying to flee the storm. The tolls have been suspended along the Florida Turnpike and Alligator Alley and basically all the highway systems on the East Coast and the southeastern corridor. About 3,000 people were in shelters around 7 o'clock tonight, and those shelters are continuing to open as needed, and the numbers inside the shelters also growing tonight. Reports of gas outages along Florida's East Coast are piling up tonight. A lot of evacuees and residents topping off their tanks, just in case, the gas stations were going to run out. So, of course, a lot of the gas stations couldn't keep up. If you're like, oh, let me fill up this tank just in case for my generator. So pump closures becoming a really common sight. Again, this is in southeast Florida, not our part of the state yet. The governor is saying Florida has a total supply of enough gas for about 6 days. It should last the state that long.
All right, we want to give you a look at the shelters that are open across southwest Florida. Here's a list for you. It's Clewiston Middle School and LaBelle Middle School in Glades and Hendry County. And then the Alico Arena at Florida Gulf Coast University in Lee County is open, as well as the Estero Rec Center. That one is pet friendly, so if you are still feeling perhaps at this point maybe you want to leave, or perhaps you know someone somewhere on the East Coast that's thinking last minute, hey, I do want to get out of Dodge and they want to come on over, they have some pets, Estero Rec Center is the place to go. In Charlotte County, Harold Ave Park Rec Center is open for you as well.
We are breathing a sigh of relief here in southwest Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Parts of Hendry County and Glades County were concerned that the winds could do some damage there. There were voluntary evacuations in those counties, shelters set up. Well, one of those shelters was at Clewiston Middle School. That's where we find 4 in your corner, Stephanie Tinoco. And Stephanie, you've been there all morning long, kind of overnight into the morning. You've been speaking with people who are there. Is there anybody left in the shelter, or has everybody gone home?
Well, Chris, this place has really emptied out. All that's left is people from Red Cross who are volunteers. They're actually from Lee County, believe it or not, who are out here helping out. They were out here for hours. Right now, they're just tearing down, cleaning up, doing all the necessary steps to just really evacuate the school. And so we're pretty much the only crew out here other than the volunteers here. Now, I did speak to one of the Red Cross volunteers, and she told me that she's prepping for after, the assessment of the state to see where are the really affected areas. So while their work is completed here, their work is just beginning, because they're going to be looking for other opportunities to lend a hand and just really help out with the Red Cross. So just to give you a little recap of what Bob and I have been experiencing this morning, right now the winds aren't as bad. It's just a little gust here and there, but earlier today it was really strong. At one point I had my wind jacket on, but as you can see, I don't need it right now. Bob had to hold on to the light because it was kind of flying forward a little bit, but it wasn't too extreme, and that was the good news, because people here in Clewiston were really afraid that the effects of prior storms would be the same this time around, and thankfully that was not the case. Another big concern were mobile homes. A lot of people in this area live in mobile homes, and so they were afraid that if it was really catastrophic or very intense, that they would go home and find their homes in shambles. So thankfully that is not the case this morning. We are experiencing a lot of wind, as you can tell and probably hear back there in the studio, but all is well here. Earlier there were a few deputies just securing the area, making sure that everyone is safe, and really bringing that sense of security to this community after what they've experienced with Wilma. So right now we're just hanging out, making sure that all is clear. They are expected to be done within the next hour, so we'll hang out here till they're finished and probably grab some coffee after that. But right now we're reporting live in Clewiston. Stephanie Tinoco, Fox 4, in your corner.
8:39, our coverage of Hurricane Matthew shifting a little bit. Not only are we tracking the storm and where it is right now, but we're also returning back to the southeastern part of our state to talk about some of the damage. Now that the sun is up, we can get out and see exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, that's right. We want to go to Sam Sosa right now. She's been in the breaking news tracker, and we gave you her entire track all the way to Fort Pierce, where she was reporting on what she saw along the way. Sam, it looks like you're now out of the vehicle and seeing some wind. Where are you, and what are you seeing?
Miriam, I'm in Fort Pierce, and we are definitely seeing some winds. They're really picking up. Very windy out here. Since we've been traveling, it's been windy. Not a lot of rain, though. It looks like the rain, for the most part, is done in this area, but we are feeling still some winds. That storm is moving north now. I believe it's northeast of Melbourne. And this is some of the damage that it left behind. If you look behind me, we have a tree branch here, and I don't know if you guys can tell more or less how big this is, but this isn't just a small, flimsy tree branch. This is some heavy-duty. I can barely pick it up. It's a heavy-duty branch. And then aside from that, behind the tree, we have some damage here. This fence right there is completely, it fell apart due to those winds. And the owner of this place, we're actually at a restaurant. It's called the Manatee Island Waterfront Restaurant. The owner just came out and he checked out his fence. That's going to be a repair that really cost him. We also asked him if he had power, and he's not sure at this point. There's been reports of a lot of power outages here. People on social media are saying they're without power in Fort Pierce. We're going to check out those numbers. We have seen FPL driving in and out around here. Where we actually are is blocked off to the public. They actually just let us through because conditions are fine for us to be here, but they're in cleanup mode right now. We're going to keep monitoring the situation and let you know what other damage we find. For now, I'm live in Fort Pierce. Sam Sosa, Fox 4, in your corner.
As we continue to track Hurricane Matthew, conditions in West Palm Beach have improved to the point where our own Malcolm Johnson can travel around the city a little bit and find some damage. Malcolm, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, thank goodness for that, Chris. Just want to check in with you guys really quickly. Last night, we couldn't go anywhere. Our hotel had us on a lockdown. We couldn't leave. No one could come in. No one could leave the hotel. That lasted for several hours throughout the night, and you could hear some of the winds, but luckily we had some hurricane impact windows. Now, for your question, what are we seeing? We are now north of West Palm Beach, downtown West Palm, and what we're seeing is the cleanup process begin. This tree, which has been here, this was knocked down last night. The winds, as I'm told by some of the neighbors here, were pretty strong. One gentleman has come out. He's begun the process of cutting down these trees here so that he can start to put it in the back of his truck. If we walk down this way, you can see how this tree has slowly but surely begun the process of being chopped down here. And the gentleman is actually on this side of his pickup truck. We'll show you the truck the tree he's working with right now. And this is something that's going to play out in a lot of different neighborhoods that have been impacted and affected here. Again, we are now north of West Palm Beach. I got a chance to speak with some people who live inside of these homes. Many of them are shuttered up and have plywood on the outside of them. But take a listen to his account of what happened last night.
We heard like all the pressure and the rain hitting the windows and stuff like that. So we knew it was, nowhere to be outside. We couldn't be outside. Like when it was raining, we couldn't be out. It was too windy. So we opened the door, it blows. Right, like it was too powerful out.
So you're getting a look at the tree right now as it's on its way to being thrown into the back of this pickup truck. A lot of the neighbors and the residents are stepping outside for the very first time, seeing what this looks like. The bad news is the folks on this side of the street still don't have power. And they tell me that every time a storm rolls through this neighborhood of Riviera Beach, they always are stuck without power. But the folks on the other side of the street here, they do have power, so they're able to come outside and go back inside of their homes and check out what's going on. Spoke with one woman, said she was watching a movie last night and the power cut off on her in the middle of the movie around 11 o'clock last night. So this is going to be a cleanup process. Not too bad in this section of Riviera Beach, but there are portions of the East Coast that just got crushed from this storm. If you look at certain counties, the main county, it sounds like, or the main beach would be Vero Beach. Thousands of people there still without power. Chris and Miriam, we're going to stay on top of this as the morning prevails, but the good news here in this neighborhood is not too much to worry about.